All right. 6:30 p.m. February 19th, 2020. Calling this meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. You know what? Since you're the most recent student, Mr. Belcher, why don't you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir, Mr. Underwood.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We want to get back to the stand
Really?
Really?
Yeah, Sam is.
Really? I'm graduate, you just had to graduate.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, but he's always here. You're not here all the time, so I wanted to give you the honor. I know. That's great. All right, can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Ms. Combs. Here. Mr. Ricks, absent with prior notice. Mr. Smith.
Present.
Mr. Swayze.
Here.
Mr. Underwood.
Here. Brings us to 3.0 modification and or approval of the agenda and or approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to modify or approve the agenda?
Make a motion.
To alleviate anybody from having to stay late, can we swap 11 and 12?
If you make the motion correctly, sir, yes.
I wanted to make sure before I did.
Yes, we can do that.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to change 11.00 executive session and 12.00 information updates. To swap them so that those that choose to leave do not have to stay all day.
Do I have a second? Call for the vote, please.
Yes, Ms. Combs. Aye. Mr. Ricks, absent prior notice. Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Swayze.
Aye.
Mr. Underwood.
Aye. That brings us to 4.0 student performances. All right. 5.0 open forum.
Yes, we have Mrs. Robin Diaz.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good, how about you?
Good.
I actually just wanted to address the board tonight. I'm sure we're all aware of some of these things that have happened. And I just wanted to say,
Go ahead. Just,
I just wanted to say how disappointed I am in previous board members in our community for bringing issues that should not have been brought to achieve an agenda. I'm aware of other events that happened that brought this event to happen. However, someone went above and beyond and called social services, where I have 2 foster care children that I take care of, and that has now threatened me to be able to adopt them. So I just wanted to let everyone know that I feel that it's wrong, and it's not okay. The other person that is involved in this situation is being affected in every way. There's a problem needs to be addressed with the family. There's just really, really disappointed, and those people should feel ashamed because they jeopardized 2 children, and they have to be placed back in foster care because someone else wanted to push it.
Thank you, Mrs. Diaz. Anyone else for open forum?
No.
All right, that brings us to 6.0 consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second? Call for the vote, please.
Ms. Combs.
Aye.
Mr. Ricks is absent prior notice. Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Swayze.
Aye.
Mr. Underwood.
Aye. Brings us to 7.0, District Accountability Committee Report. I see the DAC co-chair approaching the microphone, so I'm assuming there is one.
Just sort of some follow-up on stuff we discussed last time. As far as parent involvement goes, we're basically going to go through the projected sort of outlook on it and look at percent of parents involved in outside activities for schools. volunteering or just attending. Now the fun part comes where we get to try and figure out how to improve that. We'll keep you updated as we come up with some more ideas on that. One thing that I did want to mention, the bookmobile is now going to PHE every Tuesday from 9 to 11:45. This is open to the community as well. So anybody that can talk to anybody that know the community that would be interested in going, it works just like a standard library. You just go into your library card and you can take out books. It's there every week. I have been told that whether or not it continues to come and whether or not it will come for us over the summer is based entirely on community people coming in and protection. So if we can get the word out so that we can keep on having that for the kids, that would be great. Also, as sort of an additional library update, we have become part of, hang on, let me find it here. It's the Click Aspen Cat. It's a library partnership. We've actually partnered with 114 other libraries in the state, and we can do interlibrary loans through any one of those, so it increases our resources for the conservation. So I'm really looking forward to being able to take advantage of that. A couple of updates that we got from PTO. Bingo for books is going to be Friday the 1st. And then the week of May, sometime between the 4th and the 8th, we're going to be doing staff appreciation with a food truck, and invitations are going to be sent out. It'll be, it's going to be a PHE, which I'm sure.
What was that date again?
It's going to be sometime between the 4th and the 8th. We're just waiting on official stuff for that. The carnival is going to be held in May through PTO. Spring book fair, we're also looking at sometime in May. We're still kind of working on trying to figure out what date we're going to have for that. PHE completed their leader testing. 2 students got exited. As far as the junior senior high school, they also completed their testing and exited 11 students from last year. So, yeah.
That's a good thing in case you're not tracking.
Yes, that is very good. After school clubs have started again at PHE, and Mr. Swayze, I'm sure that you can speak more to this as far as the Fountain Youth basketball. I believe we're going to be doing that again this year. And we're also looking at PHE 4th and 5th grade are going to be starting athlete. And we're looking at possibly doing an honor society for the elementary school as well. And student council elections have happened at PHE, and we're going to be starting that soon as well. And that is pretty much all I got for this.
Well, 10 major bullets, 4 sub-bullets. I think it's pretty thorough report. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Brings us to 8.01, superintendent comments, sir.
Yes, we had our CCIRA, Colorado Council International Reading Association Conference, Thursday and Friday, I guess it was just last week, a week and a half ago. And as always, there's a snowstorm that happens, but we all got home safely, which is a good thing. There were quite a few sessions which are rather interesting for staff. Every year, it's kind of hit or miss, it's like any other conference. And there was one member at Prairie Heights, like, it wasn't as good as last year. Another one was like, no, I thought it was better than last year. So it's hit or miss. Then the academic calendar for next year, the committee was supposed to meet yesterday, but we had closed the school. So they're going to meet next Tuesday. And then they'll develop a draft of sorts, get feedback from student or from staff. And then the next week they're going to meet. So on the next agenda, you guys will have their proposed calendar for next year. Just a reminder about daylight savings time, because it's right here, March 8th, it's a Saturday, so right around the corner. Parent-teacher conferences, hard to believe spring break is right around the corner. Parent-teacher conferences are that Friday before our spring break, and that's only 5 weeks away from right now, so it's pretty good. At both schools. And then, of course, April is the fun month of all the state testing, so CMAS, PSAT, SAT. What's the SAT date? Do you know?
14th, that Tuesday, I believe.
April 14th?
Correct.
So, a lot of high stakes stuff happened in April. And one of the items is tonight that we're going to talk about regarding our snow day we had yesterday, and what we can do because our hand is almost forced where we have to look at these. But in the end, it's whatever is the best and safest thing for our kids and for our staff to stay proud of them so far. So we won't make a wrong decision just because we get sick today. So that's it. I tried to keep it quick for you.
Sweet. And I'm sure you'll have an alibi.
I hope not. I just talked about oh, I did District Spirit Night. That was a lot of fun. We gave, instead of a TV this year, we did two $100 gift cards and a $500 gift card. So 3 people walked away with something. And then the day after, the staff members who showed up, we did a drawing for a $50 gift card for staff members. So it was nice to be able to struggle up a little bit instead of one big TV. And our teams played well. It was a lot of fun. They had a lot of cheering. It's always awesome to see the little kids go out there and share things with the older kids.
Awesome. Mrs. Swayze.
To piggyback off what Jeff said about the basketball, I am starting our, I don't know what you want to call it, but I call it our Fountain League. We go against Fountain down there, 3rd, 4th grade, 5th, and 6th grade, practice in over Prairie Heights. I haven't got the dates yet. We'll probably start next week. Everybody's registered now. And we'll have at least 8 games there on Saturdays. And they start March 21st. That's the first game. And I hope to have some help trying to get Adrian for one. So we'll see. Yeah. I agree with the Spirit Night. That was fantastic watching the students over here cheering and having a blast. Our AD has been getting compliments too. Our,
It's because he's so good looking.
yeah, I think so.
So it's not about job performance.
No.
That's my alibi.
We're in trouble.
You're going to say something about it. I was going to have Tim say something.
Oh, you are? Well, then I won't say nothing. I'm good. That's it. Give us
Mr. Smith.
Just thank you for all those that are involved. Dak, wonderful. I think that's one the Dak so far is probably as more involved as I've seen it in a lot of years, and making things, steps that are in line for our students to help them both academically and character-wise, and those things you're doing, and then the feedback you're giving the board for what they have going on with the budget, things you've done. Thank you for that, and having that working committee, that's great. That just goes more towards that growth mindset as a district that is really an effort push so that people are involved in moving forward instead of having that fixed mindset where you're just like, woe is me, we can't do anything. We can be small and we can be mighty. And I think that's the direction we're going, and that's great. Thank all the staff for continuing that and all the hard work that's put in, especially for those that are coming in on those odd days when the school's closed, but I know somebody comes in maintenance-wise and looks for leaks and busted pipes and all that stuff. So thank you for that extra effort, because I know some might not live as close as others, and it's not always as fun to be on these roads before they're taken care of. So thank you for that. And then for the staff that's here at the board meeting, thank you for coming out here and showing your involvement and your concern for how we help set the district forward.
Mrs. Combs.
I just want to say, as a community, we are elected by them to serve them the best way that we can. I want the community to know that we, as a board, is committed to working together as one. I know that it has not been, came off as us working together as one. It definitely seems like we butt heads more than we are not, but I want the community to know that it's our goal to come together and to work together. And I want to say thank you to Robin for being here today and bringing it to our attention And if there's anything that we can do as a board to support you and to help you during this journey of you fighting to keep the kids that you taken care of and loved for their whole life. I know at me individually, I support you in anything that we can do. We're here. We're gonna be united going forward, where our goal as a board is to work better together. And I can give you my word as a board member that we are achieving that each and every board meeting, and as well as outside of the meetings. And my apologies to you. My heart goes out to you, and if there's anything I can do. That's all. Yes.
Thank you. So, I think Mr. Smith went through and thanked all the staff for, doing this, that, and the other. But what I want to call out special thanks to our bus and van drivers. These roads, I saw when we had that first round of storms a couple weeks back, I saw 3 or 4 medical calls, traffic accident calls out on Hanover Road. And so I know those roads are treacherous. I just want to say thanks to our bus and van drivers for being safe, for keeping our kids safe. And again, thanks to the superintendent for making those smart safety calls. Because those calls aren't just to keep our kids safe, it's to keep the parents safe, take them to the bus stop, and to keep our van and bus drivers safe. And that's really our highest priority, safety. So that needs to really be in the forefront of our minds. And so that's really all I have this time. Thanks to our bus and van. All right. Any outline?
Yes, we have one. Mr. McNerney, would you like to share anything this evening regarding any accolades?
No, we have none. Do you want me to do it from here?
You can do it from wherever you feel most comfortable.
Well, I generally like to stay,
What,
but I'll stay back.
Why don't we do it up here in front of the cameras so
Can we do it up here?
embarrass somebody because they don't want to be in front of
I'm
you?
here.
Now you're getting the best looking for it.
So, Friday, we were made aware from the Colorado Athletic Directors Association. They are the executive board for all athletic and activity directors across the state. There are over 350, 400 or so in the state. That is 1A to 5A, all schools. And Mr. Williams has made a mantra here with our kids in the school, in that we started this year with, we're not just Hanover. And that came from him. Well, the state acknowledged that Friday. We have the 1A CADA Athletic Director of the Year in our presence.
Wow.
What we did this morning, what we did with our faculty today, and what you're doing today, is really the growth is living. And it's not just preached now, it lives. So that level of excellence, the kids are also seeing, and he works hard anyway, but it's truly cool for us to sit collectively and say, watch out, we're just getting built. And so that is what we have in our presence, and we're so happy he's here. So.
Hey, that's amazing. Good job.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You appreciate speech.
That's awesome.
You left it all alone.
Let's see. This is my 13th year as an athletic director, second year out here at Hanover. And like I told the staff today, it's humbling because this recognition comes from peers. All right, supervisors, evaluators, board members, whatever the case may be. But it's win the people that you work with, you're in the trenches with, they see what you're doing. But it's also humbling because 1 of 5 out of 360, 370 athletic directors get recognized. I'm just doing the same job that everybody else is doing, trying to do the best for kids, best for coaches, teams, programs, communities. I'm not in this for me, I'm in this for our community. So, but it's very humbling, and yet I'm very grateful. So, thanks.
Thank you. Good job.
And you'll also see referees respect that man and talk to him, where a lot of ADs don't get the respect. Every game I've seen, that athletic director right there, the referees will go up and talk to every one of them, and the other coaches.
Fantastic. Any other comments? Okay, brings us to 9.01 Best Grant Update. It's not allusion to you being the best grant. Where are we?
So, you want to give us an update? As she comes forward, Rochelle had an opportunity to talk to, I'm just doing that, I'm killing time for you, she had an opportunity to talk to the mediary at CDE between us and that's the board that makes the decision. So she has an update on what that got us.
So, after all of the feedback from the community, from staff, and also from the board, and all the workshops that we've done, we presented that to our best grant representative, her name is Cheryl Hartisburg. And she's reviewed the items that we are applying. So, she is our regional representative, so every year she sees what everybody tries to apply for, and she also sees and knows what gets approved and what doesn't. And so she's seen the items that we've asked for, and she pretty much agrees that we stand a chance to receive some of these items. She's given a couple of schools that pretty much worked with RTA we were working with last year. I got funded last year for the same items that we were asking for. So there are a few things that she did say that to make the package a little better, some items that we should prioritize, and some items that we should forego. Just seeing both schools and what we need as a whole. And so we will be providing the board pretty much our draft application by about Friday morning so that you can see what you're applying for. And then we'll be submitting that to the next grant. And I believe we are scheduled to be visited for the items that we are applying for in April. So they will review everything, they will do the visit and inspection, and then the board will probably be there 2-3 times just to make a case, maybe once or maybe 3 times before they make a final decision on what they will approve. That's where we're at right now.
And positive, some of the things to trim back are to make it more appealing and more possible that we can go away from, so that we don't have to come up with a match or ask the voters for a match. So that's why we're going to take the advisory, so that we hopefully put on the match route.
Right, so we have to approve that application, right?
Well, you guys approved the applying for it.
Right.
We approved it though under sort of false pretenses here financially, that we had a match, and we made it seem like to RTA, is that the company we hired, that we had a match, and now we're saying, oh, but we don't have a match, but then if they look into our finances, and then all of a sudden our fund balance comes together the way we were under the impression that it was, they're gonna say, well, why are you asking for a waiver? And I feel like we went into this process and now we're getting blindsided. And I feel as if, I'm the only board member, that we should probably maybe not even go for it because of the financial situation that we are now in. And that's how I feel. Does anyone else feel?
Since Citizens for Discussion, I'll give you a response to that. We are looking at how we can come darn near close to recovering anything that we saw as a deficit from the first 6 months financially. And we're going to be on track to come darn near close to that.
So if we ask for the waiver and then we recoup and then our fund balance goes up to where we were under the impression that it was, they have this money. Why are they asking him for a waiver when because they're gonna look into our financials, and if all of a sudden it goes good again, I mean, how does that work?
Well, part of it is the fact that even if it's that good, they still would consider it good. Even, let's say we're still in the year $750,000, they would still consider it waiver because of the size of what we're asking for and the amount that we would have to match. So, if that makes sense, we're asking for about $1.9 million. And so,
Their match.
And then also, do you understand that there are items that the best grant, it doesn't fall under the safety and security items that the best grant can, that can fund. But there are still items that the school needs to improve, replace, and such. And so I did bring up the reason, I brought up the waiver that we are trying to see, and she asked that. And she said, well, how much can the district, be able to match in the event that you're going to apply for everything? And then I did provide the number that was discussed before, and it's only a possibility. Again, this is not the application, this is all.
Well, Steve, when does the application be turned in?
And that would be, next.
And we're gonna see that application prior to your report.
Right.
And have we approved any match to match? We have not. Have we? I remember discussing it on a
Well,
very
see,
high level.
that's where I was going when I first started this. So, yeah, we approved you to move forward with it, but I don't know if we approved via vote, if you will, the specifics of, we talked about what's in the list and the rack and stack of the list and whether or not we're proposing a match or a waiver. And so that's why I was curious what if formally we need to bless that application.
if you procedurally want to do that, then certainly
We look at a special meeting. Because it's due not this coming Friday, next Friday? Okay.
So I have a question about the waiver. So are we asking for the waiver because of the financial situation we're in, or are we asking for the waiver because of the amount that we're asking for?
the amount they're asking.
So the fund balance being down now has no effect on the waiver,
No.
or the request of it.
Even when they
So-
start digging into our financials.
So regardless of where we're at financially, based on where we're looking at asking for, you would recommend asking for the waiver?
Can they, the mechanism of how it works, right? So they could approve us and not approve the waiver? And then we're on the hook for the match?
You're together. On the
It's together.
application, yes.
So they're tied. So if we ask for the grant or the waiver, and they like everything in our application except for the waiver, they can deny us simply based on the waiver.
There's no negotiation there where they come back and go, then you do 5%?
That's my understanding, they don't do that. It's up or down, both.
They normally do not deny application based on waiver. They normally deny application based on, do you really need what you're asking?
Right.
And again, how I explain why we're asking for the waiver is, again, we may have this much money, but we have other things to improve in the building that cannot be covered by the cash tax. Like, for example, the bus alarms, which is a huge So that's one of those things, and she understands that, and she believes that right
Well,
now.
if you just take that bad word out, bad phrase out, but if you look at the rack and stack paperwork that we were given, there's a lot of stuff that was not highlighted yellow that doesn't fall under the best grant. And so we could, whatever the fund balance is, we could literally spend the whole thing and barely dent those things that we feel we really need to do around this whole campus, both campuses, and not really put that big of a dent in. I don't remember the numbers right, somewhere along the lines of, if we spend our entire fund balance, it'd be about 30 to 40% of what is in that rack and stack document that's not in the best grant. So I mean, that's a case for asking for a waiver right there, even if we don't use.
And all districts have that list. And you might remember, we started talking about this 2 or 3 years ago, about how the state tells you over the next 20, 40 years how much it's going to cost to do all the replacements. So that's where we're coming off of that. And, it's somewhat related. I wouldn't want to mislead individuals if they're appropriate that, because that's kind of what you're misleading. I'd be careful there because
It's the cyclical nature of the board.
Yes.
So there's a lot of apprehension there, and sometimes it's hard to put that apprehension aside. And to be honest, we've gotten a warm fuzzy from you on things that haven't been warm. And it's hard when there's a lot of things swirling around for me sometimes to center myself, to sort through all that fuzziness and pinpoint what's really there. And it's just that I can feel the frustration, understand it. That's why I asked the specific question of, if we had none of this financial difficulties or ups and downs, would we still apply for the waiver? And if that answer is a flat yes, then I understand it. But it is hard to get rid of all that, what I like to call sometimes noise, and figure out what's really happening so that a decision can actually be made based upon what the facts actually are, and not the stories that swirl in our heads, because we're human, and that sometimes it's hard to get there's a lot of stuff swirling, it's hard to just pinpoint and stop it to make that decision.
In our work meeting, in our workshop, right here in the cafeteria, in our workshop, those two gentlemen explained every bit of what we're arguing about to us. Every bit of it is explained.
We never
We're not-
discussed needing a waiver with those
We did.
gentlemen.
We talked
said,
about a waiver.
Would it be a possibility? But then we said, we have this much money, and then let's buy
No,
a bus barn, and
no.
let's do this, and it was not presented
No,
to us
no.
the correct way, Ed, and I'm sorry, it was not.
No.
Were we ever saying we were going to need a waiver? No, we discussed
The
a
word waiver
match.
was talked about. but-
Waiver was talked. We talked about the
We never
match
talked
too.
about needing the waiver, or
Yes,
going
we talked
after the
about
waiver.
putting the waiver in.
Yeah, but
He
we
talked
actually
about
walked
putting
away
the
from
waiver
that
in.
We
meeting.
walked away from that meeting thinking we had 10% solid to match. That's my point, okay? I was there too.
No,
That's
that was
what
That's
we
what
walked
it
away
was.
from.
That's
That
what we
was
walked
true.
away
That
with.
was
And a
true.
week later, we asked the auditor, and the auditor says, I wouldn't match anything because you guys don't have it.
he
That
talked,
was misleading.
he talked
You
about a
cannot
waiver.
mislead a board about the financials of the district. That is wrong on every level, and I don't care what it is.
Even if it's typical auditors here, right? I mean, you know. Okay, so we have voted to move forward with the best grant at previous meetings. So I will leave it at this. So I don't want to sit here and dictate, but if 3 board members contact me asking for a special meeting to approve the application, then I'll follow. Fair?
And I say, these are items, and
Oh.
not items that are.
We absolutely do not disagree with you with that. Sir, you have a question?
We do. If we do get approved for the best grant, can we deny that? Maybe it would make sense then to, if we get approved for it, then the board can hold a meeting to vote on whether or not we accept the best grant based on what our financials are, what we
Yeah,
can
but
match, whether we get the
If we
waiver.
put it in with the waiver, and we get approved with the waiver, why would we ever deny that?
Well, exactly, but what I'm saying is that,
I think that would be I understand where you're coming from, but I think that would be a black eye that we don't want to walk around with, because then it would be, is you were approved a best grant, and then you didn't get it. There's a district down south that was approved for a best grant, but it required a match of the community to pay a bond, and the community said, we're not gonna approve that bond via vote to get this best grant, even though we have 9 buildings that are falling apart. And believe you me, that district will probably be absorbed by another district along Highway 50, because the best grant in no way in their mind probably will give $8 million to rebuild that district when they've done it once already. So as much as I'd like that option, I think we need to either, have our special meeting, look at everything and say we're in or say we're out. But I wouldn't want to be the district that goes and gets an approved best grant and says, nah, we don't want it, just because of that stigma.
well,
Because it's competitive, because if we don't want it, they can't just give it to somebody else typically. That money's gonna roll to the next year.
No, they give it to the next person.
Oh, to be the next
because
one? That's
That's
good.
exactly what they told us in the meeting right there, that if we don't take it, it goes to the next one. If If they don't give him one, it goes to the next.
And then they have the negative two.
Blake wasn't there.
But,
Yeah, that's right. Dwight
The
wasn't there.
Manzanola-
But that's exactly what we
Manzanola
heard.
School District did the best grant, they were approved, went to voters, they denied it, they did it again, they were approved, went to voters, it was denied. So it kind of goes both ways.
So
Right, it does.
historically, there hasn't been any negative issues with denial.
I can't say for people who weren't in the news, who didn't get it a second time. But I think Dwight's right, that it is a good practice.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to do it. I
Right,
agree with
I agree.
Dwight, it's not.
So, all right. Have we talked it out? Dr. Schmidt, you good? Okay. Are we good with that? Ready to move on? Okay, 9.02, SCAP site visit, sir.
Yes, we're gonna present. Oh, I thought you were kidding. I apologize. That's okay. So, you guys have heard about, we talked about SCAP, and I know some of the board members are aware of hearing about it over the last year. What we wanted to do is share with you guys the results of the presentation here.
Somebody has got to figure out how to make those things like be an instant on.
Would be nice. You don't have to make a presentation.
Is that a Google sheet?
It is a PowerPoint.
That's a Google slide.
Okay.
There's a presentation button on the top right.
So, SCAP stands for Student-Centered Accountability Program, and what we are is we are one of 15 districts in the SCAP, and we are in a pod with 3 other districts, meaning that all 4 of us, we see each other, for sure. For our visit, we had visitors from, the name of the school district is the name of the town except for Moreno is called Buffalo, that's why I put it in parentheses, so you have an idea. We're around the state, Los Animas, Buena Vista, Kremling, Moreno, and La Vida. So they came, I didn't see my notes. So representatives, that would be teachers as well as admin from those districts came in and they did this visit. And so these guys are going to share some of the things. I'm just going to be oh, I forgot about this part, and I would love to. There are 4 areas you can ask them to look at. When you do a 1-day, which is what we did, you get 2. And so the 2 we asked them were learning climate and culture and then curriculum construction.
So then you have like a follow-up visit later on to cover the other 2?
So every year, you go through this. So the data that they look at is they have what's called a document review. And in there we have to put all kinds of things. We have to put our schedules, we have to put our academic calendar, our curriculum that we have. What else? We have background information on the districts. Anything that we ask for anything systematic has to go into there. There's also a survey that students, staff, and parents completed, 3 different groups. They do a focus group with each of those 3, and they interview those individuals plus the administrative team, and then they do observations. So they observe every single classroom in this day. Somebody in one of those groups at least once saw every classroom. So that's all the data that they have to then make their conclusions. So I like this.
All right, so then when they came to Prairie Heights, when they did the learning climate disposition, their findings were that the environment is warm and welcoming, that the common areas of the building and in the classroom, that the relationships that we built are strong and that they should be celebrated. That they did, during their observations, that they didn't, that everything they observed was just direct instruction and no moments. They only observed in the classrooms for about 10 minutes, so it was just a snapshot moment. That class dojo is mute, and that
bring up that we need to focus on the scaffolding construction. Interventions are in place for reading. That student engagement needs to increase. More individualized personal professional development is needed. And this was one that we are well aware of. It's just that our ELL and GT is a significant area. And that's one that we're working on.
So from the high school, middle school, high school, and Brett and I will talk to this, our platform from an instructional end has been authentic learning. We are trying to get rid of the paper-based learning. You're never going to do that. But we want hands-on. We want relevant-based learning. Their snapshot said the authentic learning was inconsistent. They also noted a little bit student engagement not being entirely consistent. Now that's also with a rubric of what engagement is, so if you can put that in a lens. They also stated the EL and GT programs were areas of high need. Differentiated practices. This one surprised me a little bit, and Brett jumped in a little bit. I thought we were pretty good, but they said we need work, and I'm okay with that. Part of the inconsistency we found, and I'm not justifying any of this, please don't get that, but was when we did our comprehensive thematic scenarios, Grant got us all together and all the players and said, you got a week, look at the data, and let's come together as a district thematically and say, what do we got? So we can go K-12. We found that the docs they used to give us feedback, very little was given to us and a lot to them. And we're like, well, if you give it to them, how come you don't give it to us? And we found that thematically strange. Now, when we got with SCAC committee a week later, we said to them, why? And they said, we're not real sure, but they're always looking for feedback. And these are things they're working on, so it's cool.
Just want to jump in real quick, and I'll come to this real quick. Michelle hit it very well. When we went to Crimley and some of the others have been to some of the other places they come here, this is a snapshot. They're walking around in groups of 3, and they're in a classroom 8, 10, 12, maybe 15 minutes. And when Tim talks about differentiated instruction, doesn't mean it's not taking place. It's just in that fly-by, fly-through, they didn't see it, they didn't absorb it on a consistent basis, so it doesn't mean we aren't doing it.
So then, this is like their executive summary, did they give you detailed notes?
Yes, absolutely.
With the only exception, secondary, when we asked classes, that group said they were running out of time, so they didn't get all the notes in there, and they just jumped to between summary findings. And what we want is what the notes, so we can identify raw data.
Right.
No, it's very comprehensive, very detailed, but they like feedback. I mean, they want the feedback, and it was appreciated. So I will accentuate that too. It is a snapshot, but I mean, you take it personally.
Right.
Just do. The guaranteed and viable, we were not surprised, but and there's rubrics for that. What they do from 8 to 9 in the morning when everybody's sitting over here is they say, here's the look-fors, and they train everybody on what it is you are doing so it's calibrated. And so it's not just, here you go. The tools are very intentional and detailed. So I need to state that. And then scaffolding with what we're doing here with engagement and practices and our John Hattie platform. They notice some things, and again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm good with that. The next part of learning and climate. This was actually kind of fun because this group can be very forward with their feedback. We've been, you and I have been to 4 or 5 of these, and I mean, you sit there and go, gotta have some thick skin. And that's okay, but you gotta have it. And so when we were sitting there and they were giving it to us, feedback, you just stand there going, I gotta be tough, I gotta be tough. And really, they said a lot of great things, I thought, for both schools, but the one thing for our building was branding. They said, you guys got a brand. So I'm thinking, okay, our press and that's not what they were talking about. What they were talking about is, what are you doing with all of the stuff in your building to show people and communicate? How are you branding what you're doing when you walk in your building? Do we see these things about the authentic learning, about the STEAM, about the PBLs, about clubs, athletic activities? That's your branding. And what they did say to us about our culture was, and we'll get to it in a second, was it's obvious you're getting there, but you're not there. And okay, cool, we're good with that. They mentioned quite a bit about our learning climate, the social emotional, when they went to middle school, not so much high school, but middle school was very evident. And okay, I appreciate that too. They mentioned that retention of staff was a concern, but that was mostly through the survey, not from our interviews. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And then, how are we bringing our shareholders to our building? Those were some of the things that they said need some more.
So for Prairie High School confirmations, class dojo is definitely an effective communication tool. Instructional planning is definitely intentional. We have a warm, welcoming environment. Students know that they are loved, and that was something that they wanted to make sure that we knew is that the students are very nice and know that they are loved. They were very evident from the students of this group as well. And that swarm is done by all students.
Confirmations obviously being things that we assumed, and it was just nice to have confirmation they saw.
For the high school, they affirmed our platforms we put in place. This year with the PLC process, this was new this year. Last year, the other three were there, but they also noticed they came on a Wednesday or Thursday. Was it a Thursday? So they actually got to sit during some of the interviews and talked. That document review that Dr. Schmidt talked about that's loaded with everything, they referenced quite a bit. It was good to see they read it because it was loaded about the processes here. They mentioned, as I said a minute ago, quite a bit about, it was very apparent in the last 18 months, a lot's changed. And that was good because they could say, a lot's changed and we need to leave, or a lot's changed and we'll talk about that in just a second. So that was good to see. They also mentioned, like they did at Prairie Heights, the faculty and the staff and students seemed pretty happy, pretty safe, pretty content, and that we care about them.
We'll jump in real quick. When they're here, they're also meeting with focus groups. There's student focus groups in the school, high school. There's parent focus groups, there's staff focus groups. And so that's part of their information collection too. It goes along with the documentation that's prepared for students and them. So there's lots of ways that they're gathering information to come up and give us this feedback. To me, when it talks about culture's changed in the last 18 months, that's coming from our students, coming from our community. So I think that's something that we should really be proud of.
So for Prairie Heights, for areas of growth, we obviously knew that ELO was definitely something that we were going to need to know about and that we are thinking about. Active instruction of students, engagement strategies, scaffolding in the classroom with DOK, questioning, raising checks for understanding, and better identify individual professional development. That was something that we were a little bit confused by as well with the individualized professional development, because that's something that we thought was going on. And then I don't think But it's something that we're gonna work on and get it in our plan.
Question, what's DOK?
Those are your, things. It's state rank, it's your depth of knowledge, so there's,
Depth of knowledge.
there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
So some areas of growth for us, as I mentioned, the branding, the authentic learning, and that actually is funny because today I took this and brought it to our staff because I wanted feedback. And so they had some pretty intentional points about just what we're talking about here. The authentic learning is new here, and I need to do a better job of teaching them what it is. And I am that. That's cool. We're good with that. Continued work. If you ever get to the point where this doesn't need work, I want to be at that school and see what it looks like. Because at that point, you're done. Self-actualization happens.
Maslow, reference to Maslow.
Not yet, but okay. We're not there, but we will. Our communication with stakeholders, we have been working across that as a district, and that's a work in progress also. We've got, I'll show you in just a minute, some ideas about this. Technology and retention, nothing that none of us didn't know.
So then our next steps at Prairie Heights is to research ELL and GT programming ideas. The ELL GT site coordinator to get training for that, for those people who are in those positions, and to train us. Continue study and implementation of quality feedback for students. Revisit engagement strategies.
We're currently doing that right now with focus on feedback.
We are.
So
We're talking about that often in our PLCs that we have with staff. Revisit engagement strategies with taken structures and call-outs. Continue focus on questioning, BOK, question raising, checks for understanding, and then we're going to survey the staff too for their PD requests.
And then for us, the branding we've talked about, the next steps for us, and we got a bunch of good ones today. But in a nutshell, how are we taking our low-lying fruit and getting it where it needs to go? That is A, with communication, B, with marketing, and C, with communication, and D, with marketing. And I'm being facetious, but it's the truth. Part of what we're going to do is we're going to sell what Brett did this week and ask for funds for that, and have him stand outside and get signatures, and have him autograph people. That's just kidding. I'm so serious.
I think it'd be cool.
Okay, see, we got it.
don't go to a Vegas hotel and you have to try to steal it back.
We could do
Funds
that. With that, enhancing what we do here. We have a booster organization that has one flag up there, and I don't know when that was put up there in the gym. We have a Bring the Steam organization that is going through the same process. We've got them sustained. They're doing amazing work. How do we market that? There are things we can be doing, getting more flags, getting them acknowledged around the building, getting them a tab on our website that says Bring the Steam. There are many things we're not doing, but we will, and that's the feedback. The authentic learning, the staff said to me today, and it's cool because at least they can be forward, sometimes a little strong, but forward. And that is authentic. It sounds good in theory, but we haven't been taught. That's all on me, and that's okay. I'll take care of it. With that, then, part of what PHE and Brent and Michelle talk about is personalizing that. We got good feedback about that. Our communication with stakeholders, I won't kill that to death. The technology we're working on, we've got a rollout plan we talked about today. And then the retention, we had, again, some great feedback from our staff today. We're going to be taking all this together, putting it to the leadership here, threading it, and then coming out with an action plan for us. And then we'll publish it. And then we're gonna say, what do you think? We've gotta have a takeaway. And so that's what we're trying to do for our next steps.
Do I give you a joke, Brad? My apologies. I'm off to another world. Overall, both fee and your week, again, when you go to places, you score them on this rubric that you have. And my first one, well, the only one I've been to is Trimley. You see their scores. And it's like, okay, they obviously have some work to do. And you see our scores, it's like, okay, yeah, we have some work to do too, but our scores were pleasing, but still, room to improve would be better. We are, that kind of what the next bullet, we are on the right track, and we're doing a lot of good things, but who can improve? No matter how good your organization is, who can improve? Are we in progress? Yes, we are. Do we need to do some things, whether it's PD for ELLGT, whether it's at the elementary, the middle school, high school? Yes, but we are in progress. And it's our job to manage this change process. And this framework they've given us, the results they've given us, and then next year going and doing it again, that tells us to continue to look at improving where we are and how we perform.
So CBAM is called the Concerns-Based Adaptation Model, and that's a change piece. And what I want to do is show you an example of what it looks like. So what you do is you take, the way they give us our ratings is it's on configuration. That's what CBAM is. So that's, boy, that's hard to read. So essentially, it's your level of implementation of whatever you have going on. And so that's how the ratings are actually scored. Now, when we give them feedback, they gave us ones at Great Heights because they said they only saw direct instruction. And we said that's unfair to be defaulted to 1. And we would like to see an NA instead of a 1. So that's one of the things they're going to look at. Is you can't observe it, don't default to the low stuff. But what you do is anything in this section is in implementation. And then once you get past it, means you have it in place. And then the next year at grade, and then that's when you're really taking off. So what happened is all of our feedback and the ratings were put onto this huge, if you want to call it a rubric, you can. And so all the statements go all the way down in each of the columns, and it keeps going. So when you see that, in the middle, those two there, when I scroll up to the top, you can see that the majority of our items fell right in here for the feedback that we got, which is why we're saying it's stronger than relative to what we've seen. So we're looking at these things, and the goal is you should never expect more than 1 column growth in a year. That's reasonable for the change process. And so when they come back, all of these should shift over 1. That's our goal. The other thing is we started doing some initial drafting, Tim, Michelle, and myself, on configuration maps I mentioned you guys back in September over different instructional things that staff are doing. And that is along these lines as well. And so our hope is that that's part of what we'll be able to give staff to say, all right, what's your individualized PPE wants? Identify where you are in this map and where you want to focus. And we'll provide your PPE so you can move that level over. So it's all together. So what we're happy about, though, is that we are seeing things here, but we do have two. The ones are the ones they can observe, but we're taking them seriously to do something about it. So that's where we go forward. Any questions from any of us?
800 questions, but they're all very detailed and we'll take probably find some time to sit down.
All of the documents are on the front page of the web page. There's a link that takes you so it's 100% out there. So instead of having, there were a lot of documents, we just merged them. So all student focus groups are now on a single form. All teacher ones are on a single form. Survey out. It's not many of the survey out. But it's open for you guys to see.
Survey's on.
It's on there. I shared a little bit with the DAS today, so they can also look at it.
So I have a question. If I remember correctly, when I went to this at BOCES, they have a SCAP website where they show all the resources, or what the ratings are of all the other schools also. Do you have a link to that from our website so people could actually potentially compare apples to oranges, or apples to apples?
I need to say, I haven't seen any of the ratings in there off the SCAP website.
I thought they had some ratings, at least some basic numbers.
But,
They might not, this was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Somebody might have raised a fuss, but I think it's important as, you know, we could talk this, and I understand it's kind of a Six Sigma philosophy. You always have something to improve on, and they're gonna find it for us. But I think it's important that as the community looks at this, and even I look at it, if I can go out and look easily to what the other schools are seeing, they can let us know that, hey, it might look like the earth is falling, but in reality, this is the process of what it does, and we're in line with other districts. Because not everybody understands that Sigma 6 mentality or that Toyota mentality where no matter how good you are, we're going to find all the stuff wrong with you and tell you.
and like Tim said, we wanted them to give us that feedback. And so we do appreciate that is the part of the training in front is to say, it's like, hey, it's whatever happens here stays, so don't run off and say you won't do animal or print. You can say positive, but don't put the negatives. Because we want to be able to have that environment here. And I don't mean to say it's a negative, because a lot of it we knew, but like Tim said, some of it you're like the PD piece. Showing around, man, we know it. But we got feedback that we need to do better.
But that's good, because so many times we think we're doing what we need to do is best for those that work for us. Then we realize, wait, we're missing the mark. And that's important feedback, because we can't continue that growth mindset or even enter into that growth mindset without having that honest feedback that, you're missing it a little bit.
So as a reminder, we don't have to unify an improvement plan, out of this, but from this, we create in terms of the actual action plan, and that has to be posted and shared with CE of this.
So thanks, I look forward to that, seeing that.
Thanks for giving us some time to share.
Well, thanks for sharing, that was a lot of good information. All right, so that brings us to 9.03, 2020-2021, board meeting schedule exhibit DEE first read. The only thing I have a problem with is, I don't know why it's the title.
I thought it was 18, 19 years.
Yeah, that's in the title, not in the date.
I tried to edit it and it won't.
It's say file for properties. Just take the year. Advance, sorry.
Because after you said that, I'm like, why you did it?
It was the same thing we did on all those things in that new template when we did the policy. In there, is there any thing of note? So December 16th, that's not the third week.
So what's that November meeting is? I want to say Thanksgiving is the last week of November coming up.
Yeah. So, but that's normal. You know, so the background is we have a policy that says we always meet on the third Wednesday.
Yeah, the third Wednesday in November is good.
Oh, good. Same for December, right?
December would be the 16th.
So they just lined up this year. Nice.
Always in the new year.
No, that's why I probably did. Okay. Any objections to moving the EU second read next month? Mr. Swayze, good. about first rifle season?
Ooh, I think it's
All right. It's the October. I don't know when this year is.
We'll bring you cake and serve one year.
All right, so, all right, that brings us to 11.01, approve bank and financial accounts access.
It has to be 10.01.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, my bad.
it's,
Do I have a motion to approve 10.01? Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And discussion is basically as people come and go, we need to keep this current.
Better. Better keep it current.
Don't we need to keep it current? All the time. So, you know, that's one of the things, I was thinking about. So I have this binder, board member kind of transition book to bank. It's something we used to do when I was in the Army. You basically just make a book of your job. So when you leave the job, you hand the book to the new person. So I'm kind of sort of putting something like that together for board members. And so I think that's something we'll ask the treasurer to stay on top of as things change, to focus or remind us that those account access needs to change. Any further discussion on 10.01? Call for the vote.
Ms. Combs? Mr. Rich, absent prior notice. Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Swayze? Mr. Underwood?
Aye. Brings us to 10.02, approve resolution for zero interest loan program. Do I have a motion to approve 10.02?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
second.
Okay. Normally we read the resolutions, but this one is monstrous, 20 some odd pages. I think you wanted to be here for 20 plus minutes while we read it into the record. It was in the public packet, right? Yeah. Discussion.
try to be more specific for the US.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Call for the vote, please.
Ms. Combs? Mr. Rich, absent prior notice. Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Swayze? Mr. Underwood?
Aye. Bring us to 10.03, board budget priorities for 2020. Don't really know how to do this without some kind of a list, but do I have a motion to approve 10.03?
Make a motion to approve 10.02.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay. I don't know how to do this without having a piece of paper where we've all
So
like
it's
looked at it.
in policy,
Right.
but this is, if there's anything above that you want to direct as we start developing the budget, you want to make sure we're hitting on. So one of the things I wanted to share is that I shared with our 18 leadership this morning. I've been able to look at our FTE and looking at, we can have one natural reduction from staff being replacing that happened, and another reduction in the heights of some FTE. And by doing that, and giving all staff, and I'm still always working, remember, so I don't want anyone to take this as what we're doing. We give all staff their step, $800 in terms of certificate. We all classify their step, and that varies depending where you are in the schedule. And I went ahead, even though this would have to be through my board, was to the budget. We tried to bump our bus driver schedule to be competitive, $2 an hour, competitive. All of that in the end would cost us $5,000 more dollars in the end.
That is accounting for the reduction of
Right.
right.
And I'm close to that. The JBC today, we received, because that's sometime on cases, legislative committee got something from JBC today, the feedback, they are finding that they're able to do the regular bump that they do every year in student funding for the which is going to be on average around $220, $219. They're also looking at doing an additional $50 million line on legislative stabilization factor. So we will see an increase. I shouldn't say it like that. Confident. Assuming our student enrollment stays put.
So we'll see a per student increase.
Thank you, that's a better way to phrase
So
it.
yeah,
We will see a
there'll be a
per student
statewide per
increase.
pupil increase.
Yes.
We need to make sure that we use the appropriate
Thank
language.
you, that's why I paused, like, no, I don't want to be misunderstood. So we will see that, we should see that in the neighborhood of almost 3%. And so since 83% of our budget is based on what the state gives us, that means roughly 83% of our budget should go up 3%. The other 13% is just local. And so the average increase on what I'm just sharing is for classified, it's 4%, and for certificated, it's 1.34%. But I only share that because you're thinking about any initial priorities, but of course you guys have the budget number, you have a whole process to
Right.
throw into it.
And if we didn't get you something more concrete than what's in policy until next month, that would.
That's still fine.
Okay.
Because right now, the development process is getting just some of the basics down. We always have to wait, right, until that last legislative day,
Right.
basically in May.
Well, I think on my entire time that I've been on the board, there was one year where our budget or our projected revenue didn't change on the last day of the legislative session.
So I have a question. So we're asked to give you budget priorities as a board, but as Mr. Underwood stated, I have nothing to prioritize. So how am I supposed to be able to prioritize as a board?
I had an idea.
No data here.
Well, it's in your policy, so there are priorities already written in policy.
So if I have a policy, if the board has already given you a policy on this, why are you bringing something before us that asks us to approve priorities if you already have a policy?
It's to see if you have any additional priorities on top of policy that you've
Plus,
just
the stuff
garnered
policy is
over,
pretty vague.
garnered over the year.
Right, but this is an action item.
Right, because you're gonna give me some of those priorities to act on right now.
Okay.
And so, for example, you could say, you know, we have a board policy, we need to have 8% fund balance, but I think as we move forward next year, I'm just giving you examples. Moving forward next year, I want a priority of at least adding
Your
75.
cover sheet was not clear in your expectation of what you wanted from us.
I see. I see where you're going now.
It's something we've done every year.
I would have, I mean, that discussion on it, if I would have understood. Yeah. So how about this as a proposal? We, all board members come up with some things, we'll throw them at the superintendent, and then we can rack and stack them, and we'll also have a copy of the policy with us next month, so we can bounce and interweave, rack and stack it. Is that fair?
So do we need to table this?
So then, yes, I would like to make a motion to table 10.03 until next month. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Smith seconded while I was talking. All right. Please call for the vote to table.
Ms. Combs? Mr. Ricks, absent prior notice. Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Sweet?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Aye. Motion carries, so this action will be tabled until next one. So that brings us to 10.04, approved making student contact days for the 2019-2020 school year. Do I have a motion to approve 10.04? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I don't have any question. I understand the reality of the world and don't object to us having to have potentially make a difference. But is the policy not specific enough for you to have that latitude without an action item?
I was assuming that after looking that kind of thing, that it's still pretty good idea to get board approval.
No.
If I'm gonna add it, you should go through the active.
So because what I feel is that, you know, in your cover sheet, you have a series of days instead of days. And I'm assuming you're not proposing all 5 of those Mondays be, right? So I think the cover sheet is written gives you the latitude with our vote to pick any, all of them, depending on what happens with weather from this date forward.
With giving parents at least a 10-day heads up.
Yes. Okay.
And part of the reason for that 10-day is, you know, the first option is March 16th. Let's say we had it happen on March, the week before on that Thursday. Certainly, I'm not going to choose 16th for that.
Okay.
I know a couple of the districts up north have gone to an e-learning day, and that might be something that we look into for next year. So if there's something in place, so instead of having to have makeup days, we could go that route, because it's my understanding that that's been approved by CDE with the methods that they've been able to get it across. Falcon's one, and D20, I think D11 also, but I know for sure Falcon, and that's up their schools out, because one of their schools was looking at having to make up a lot of days, because it started 6 weeks late, and these snow days are compounded on. And they've had a little bit of freedom this year, a little bit of, not freedom, but a little bit of relief this year. And if we're able to do that for next year, have that contingency, that might be a good opportunity for addition.
Kansas City has it as well. How does that work?
How that works at the school that I'm well aware of is the advisement teacher has 3 assignments that all the other teachers have given them, and they email that to the students. And then the students are able,
I know what you're talking about.
students work on it at home, but it actually
Right.
CE allows it to count as an
Yeah.
education.
Yeah, but you see it come across the TV, it'll tell you it's a e-learning day.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So that's something that we might be able to progress toward in the future.
We can investigate it. Part of what we have to look at is just internal capacity.
Right.
Doesn't mean we can't. I don't say yes now and wrong now, I say no, but we can.
Right.
Say yes to look into it.
Definitely, definitely. And we can report back either through the board update, the board, or the board meeting update next week, next month.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, and it's not direly urgent. just-
And that's your secondary kids.
Right.
And you can see how it works out.
Right.
They have the fewest number of extra kids.
Okay. So, students, if you're watching, if you don't want to come to school on Monday, don't do the snow dance.
Especially tonight.
Okay. Any other discussion on 10.04? Call for the vote.
Ms. Combs? Mr. Ricks, absent prior notice. Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Swayze?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Aye. Brings us to 11.0, information updates. I just want to say thank you again to everybody that does these updates. I very much love the detail in all of them. And I don't have any questions or comments. Anyone else?
Details very much appreciated.
Mr. Slick, you good?
No, good.
All right. All right. That brings us to 12.0, executive session. I would like to make a motion to move into executive session that will be conducted to discuss personnel matters, discussion of matters specific to particular employees, not general personnel policies, and does not include the discussion of board members or appointments to the board for the purpose of providing superintendent feedback on his performance. Do I have a second?
A second.
Call for the vote, please.
Ms. Combs? Mr. Ricks, absent prior notice. Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mrs. Swayze?
Aye.
Mr. Underwood?
Aye. We are moving to executive session.